What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I am going to be speaking about having the Mars trine Venus aspects with somebody in SYNASTRY. Astrology is really representative of an action-oriented planet, while Venus is more so representative of a very love and relationships and harmony oriented kind of planet. And a trine exists between two planets when they are 120 degrees of each other. Also, if they are in the same element, so the water signs, which is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and the fire signs, which are Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo, and the earth signs, which is Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, and of course the air signs, which is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Those are all in trines to each other because they are 120 degrees apart. So they have something in common. They share a similar element, which is water, fire, air, earth. Having that in common can make them have some positive and very similar ways or character traits, which makes their relationships a little bit more easier and easygoing and harmonious. So having Venus and Mars in a trine can also be a very easygoing kind of relationship. And there's also a lot of harmony that having this aspect can really give to a relationship between the Venus person and the Mars person. So when it comes to Venus trining Mars in SYNASTRY, the Venus person here can be very attracted to and find very appealing the confidence that the Mars person gives off. And they can really be attracted to the Mars person's way of going after what they want and taking action. And the Venus person can even find the Mars person to be very physically attractive and can really like their physical appearance and aesthetic. And even their assertive nature that the Mars gives to the Mars person in this relationship. And on the other hand, the Mars person can be very attracted to the Venus person for all of those kind of traits, like their aesthetic, their beauty, their physical appearance, and all of those good things that Venus really gives. But also the Mars person feels like they feel safe and secure to feel the emotional connection in this connection. So they really like the emotional connection between the Venus person and themselves, because the Venus person has a way of making them feel comfortable to be able to experience those the emotional connection on a deeper level. And generally having your Venus trining your partner's Mars in SYNASTRY, or even if it's a sextile, these are really nice aspects to have with someone because it really gives the sense of natural understanding of where somebody's coming from, especially in love, relationships, dating. So they can really feel like they have a mutual admiration and a strong attraction to each other in this relationship. And having the trine can really make that a lasting feeling. There's that feeling of like butterflies every time they're together. It's not as intense as the conjunction, which is a more intense aspect to have, and it can even be a love at first sight kind of aspect to share with somebody when it comes to Mars and Venus. But with the trine, it is a little bit more subtle, but it's still giving that feeling of butterflies in the stomach when they're together and really liking to be around each other, feeling comfortable with each other, and this feeling of being in love is like a constant in their relationship because they have a deeper understanding of each other and where they're coming from. And with that, they can also have similar mutual interests and share similar values and have similar hobbies or styles or tastes, and they can understand each other's needs and understand where they're coming from when it comes to their desires and needs, because this SYNASTRY makes it so that they are in sync in a lot of ways when it comes to pleasure, when it comes to enjoyment and love relationships and really feeling comfortable, and they just click it just feels right. It's the kind of relationship where it feels like they're on the same wavelength, because in a lot of ways they are, and they're coming from very similar place when it comes to the way they are looking at or wanting to approach relationships and love. And even though it's not so in your face, it's still very fulfilling, and it is a kind of relationship where the love grows at a comfortable pace and smoothly as well. And also it feels very fulfilling for both partners because it's comfortable with this synastry, and it's also just it feels very natural. And the Mars person has this very masculine energy when it comes to the way in which they go after what they want. So when it comes to the Venus person, they may want to satisfy or please their Venus partner. And the Venus person really likes this about the Mars person, but the Mars person is just always going to have the sense of expressing desire for their partner, which is also a good thing in their relationship. And the Venus person is more nurturing or more caring or more affectionate. And that's something that further motivates the Mars person. So they kind of work in that way, and things just move in a very pleasant style between the Mars person and the Venus person. And there is that sense of mutual admiration. They also both will look at each other really fondly, and the Venus person and the Mars person both feel like they are both very special, and like they very much are important. And even if the relationship doesn't work out, they will always remember each other in this way, because this relationship is so warm and loving, and they kind of speak the same language when it comes to love and relationship, especially if there are other favorable placements in the chart. However, when it comes to the more challenging side of this relationship, can be when having a trine in astrology can make for harmony, and that can be a very positive thing. But in the negative, it can also be a bit monotonous, repetitive, or it can just feel like it gets the sense of, there can be the sense of boredom with the routine, with the predictability. They can even feel very comfortable with each other, and this can even turn to complacency, especially if the excitement's lost and there's that sense of being too comfortable, because they're generally just on the same page. And this is the kind of relationship where there's very little conflict, and sometimes no conflict at all, or an avoidance of having conflict, which is something that they don't want, because there's a sense of wanting to maintain the peace in the relationship, which can be problematic, or it can not be constructive to the relationship or anyone in the long run. However, on the bright side, having the synastry does show that they can have a lot of similar interests and a lot of similar values that they have in common, which also can show that there's a lot of compatibility between the two partners, because they share that mentality when it comes to how they approach romance or love relationships. So they can understand each other's needs and wants, and they can really feel connected on a deeper level because of this feeling of really understanding each other. And also their connection just kind of unfolds naturally, and the attraction develops naturally, and they can feel very drawn to each other, especially romantically, because of this, and having those similar mutual interests and values in common. And the fact that this aspect makes it so that they're less likely to have a lot of conflict in their relationship with each other can also be a very positive thing. It can be very harmonious to have this aspect in a relationship, as opposed to the square, where there could be a lot of conflict, a lot of tension in the relationship, and their passion kind of manifests in that way. With the trine, it's more easygoing than that, but that can be a really good thing as well. At the end of the day, with this aspect, the pros really outweigh the cons, which is why it's such a positive aspect to have with someone, especially in love and relationships, or even in dating. And generally, what's really nice about having the trine or even the sextile between Mars and Venus in synastry is that this is an aspect that's going to bring together two people who are very much on the same page when it comes to love and relationships. Even if it doesn't last, or if it does, it can generally be a pretty positive experience or harmonious at the least. And they always feel like they matter, they're important, they are special people in each other's lives, or were. Well, that does it for this video on having your Venus trining your partner's Mars in synastry. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.